So here I sit. It's a Thursday morning. It's April 9th, and I'm chewing on a banana. I don't give a rat's. This channel's a little bit more laid back than my other channels. I just got done recording for a bunch of my other channels. It's been quite the week this week on production and views and everything in general. Yeah, it is. YouTube is no joke. It's extremely hard. But I tell you, I've been trying to really focus on the positivity, what's going on in the world instead of just focusing on the negative. It's real easy to sit back and focus on the negative of what's going on here in the U.S. And just the level of hatred people have here in the U.S. It's really sad. I get people messaging me all the time about how they're pro Trump, and I voted for Trump. Well, go on, clip me eating a banana. I don't care. I voted for Trump. Okay. And people hate on me like crazy because I've turned my back on him. Oh my God, you turned your back on him. Ah. You guys need to open up your eyes. Probably one of the worst economies I've seen in my entire life. And you can say, "Oh, the stock market's doing great," but I'm talking about people actually out here living, creating kids. Elon Musk talked about this a while back about how we're going to have a population crisis, and that's because the American dream is dead. It's dead. And is it all Trump's fault? No, not necessarily. But boy, does he add to the fire, doesn't he? He'll take a worse situation and just dump gasoline all over it. Boy, like he's really good at dividing people. Like, why can't we just bring people together? That's what I always said about the presidency. I don't understand why we gotta just draw division constantly. If we're fighting with each other, we can't worry about what they're actually doing. And I think that's their goal. And it just sucks how bad things are for small families, people just starting out. Minimum wage is what, $7? Can you live on $7 in the US right now an hour? Huh? $7? Come on. We have to do something about that. But people they draw a blind eye to the Trump, man. They got that red hat on and they're just all about it. I'll give you an example of what the actual problem is here in the US, and it's a huge problem. You're worried about the population crisis, but yet you're not doing anything about it because the American dream is dead at 6%. Interest rates are crazy. That adds a typical house here, that $200,000 loan that adds typically another $400 a month on a 30-year fixed loan. And where's that money going? Well, we all know where that money's going, but it's not going to the right place where it needs to go. These families are struggling, and the American dream is dead. To own a house or anything like that, you have to be a millionaire. People are all grouping up in one home at times. I'll give you an example. I have a friend that's a machinist here in this area. He's making $27 to $28 an hour. And, back in the day, we had a catalog company that was close by too. They were making $26 an hour. And when I was a kid, them people all had two houses. They had lake houses in their real house, and they had classic cars and motorcycles. Them people were living high on the hog back in the day, and I'm talking 20, 30 years ago. They were really raking it in back then. And a lot of them had pensions too. But now you fast forward to today, and that same person is struggling to even have the basic house, a basic car. It's a struggle. And that is really sad. And that just tells you how far the economy's come. No, I don't think a person really, really needs to have a second house and all these cars, but it just tells you how much the income to debt ratio has not changed. Income has stayed almost the same across the board. It has risen. Okay, I understand that. But it hasn't risen across the board to where it makes up for the inflation, what's going on. And people are struggling, and people have common sense that why would I want to bring a kid into this world if I can't even do the basics of life myself? And I can't say I blame them. In the mental health field, I've got to experience locally here. I got to work for a little bit, and just to see people's budgets and see their struggle, I think you're going to see mental health spike drastically. I think you'll see suicide rates going through the roof drastically because it is you set the deck so far against people. It's sad. There is just no choice, and you see it every day on TikTok now. Like every time I open TikTok, there's a young 20 something or almost 30 something bawling, working two jobs a week and cannot do it. And that's the sad part. It just there's just no American dream there. Back in the day, you used to be able to have one person at home and one person working, and that was important when it came to raising a family. And now we have complete strangers raising our kids because we both have to work to be able to even feed our family and pay the bills. We both have to work instead of just one. And you can go on and raise your little MAGA mind and say, well, that's just what it's all about. You're too lazy to work. I see it. There's more to life than just working. These same people work their lives away, and then by the time they're done, they haven't done anything with their life. They just worked because that's what they were taught. They were taught that working is you gotta work. Gotta work. Why? Why do we gotta work all the fucking time? Why can't we just be, laid back society? There's many other countries that don't work like us. And not only that, the US doesn't protect anybody that works at all. They protect the employer, but they don't protect the employee at all. They can fire us over anything. They can do whatever the hell they want to us. They can force us for 80 hours a week. I have an employer that I was working 80 hours a week for forced. And if I wanted to keep my job, I had to fucking do it. No fucking protection at all. And you know how badly that ruined my life? There was one time I worked 40 hours a week, 40 days straight on 12-hour days, and I took 2 days off. And you know what them motherfuckers did to me the next week? They forced me to work that following week. And I was a piece of shit to them. Because I took some time off. There's something wrong. And we need something to stand up for the actual employee, not the employer. The employer has way too many rights. They get away with murder. There's nothing protecting us at times. And we're going to go right into drug testing and the fact that they think that they can come into our bodies and to verify things like that. I just think that's overstepping. People should not be allowed to do that. If you come to work high, obviously they need to be fired. Okay, and I totally agree with that. But the fact that you are coming into my body for me to make a wage, what the fuck? This is America. Whatever happened? Everybody's always like, I'm against slaves. Okay, plain and simple. What went on back in the day with the African American population and even the Irish population, because whites were slaves too back in the day. Uh, it's disgusting. Should never ever happen. But it that's what's happening in the United States right now. We're all slaves. Slavery's still here and it's still strong. It's just everybody is now. Everybody's feeding the machine, and it's just appalling to me, and it's so sad that we're going to Iran right now, and we're starting a fight with Iran, and I understand you may think that we need to be there because of nukes and this or that. I've been lied to so many times about this war's being started because of this and that, and come to find out they didn't have anything. We've been lied to so many times, and then everybody's just still sitting back and believing it and taking it in dry. Like, don't even spit on it, Bob. How many times are you gonna get lied to? We're lied to constantly. But it's amazing what a child molester or potential child molester will do to avoid war. I don't understand. If I got accused of child molestation like Trump did in the Epstein files and many other politicians, I would be down at the courthouse right now and being interviewed and everything. Like, I have to pay the piper. Not them though. Not them. And that's just not fair Not fair to any of us, and it's not fair to our children either. Back in the day, I used to be able to I used to go outside and play out in the streets and stuff, and come back when when the pole light was on. And you may still let your kids run like that. I don't. I don't. I don't want my kids snatched up. You see it every day, kids disappearing. I can't do that. I just can't. And times have most definitely changed. You can't just let your kid out the door anymore. So, anyways, I'm done ranting. You guys have a good day. We'll see you on the next one.